Hello friends, welcome back to the RaoMoon Oracle. I'm Rao, and today we are coming back with another Oracle deck review. Today we are talking about the Green Witch Oracle. So the Green Witch Oracle is by Sherilyn Darcy, and very pretty deck here. Very simple, very witchy feeling, very earthy feeling, very grounded energy for sure, right? And we got our little symbols here. Very cool deck. So with this deck, I've used it a couple times. One time? At least one time. Maybe a couple coming up. I've used the cards as part of a pick-a-group reading, laying out the cards and using those for the option for somebody to tune into the different groups and the energy of that group. But it is not a deck I've played with a lot. It is a deck I feel that has a very specific use, and one that I am not currently pursuing in terms of my own practices. I'll get to that in a minute though. So our Green Witch Oracle deck comes with its little guidebook here, and there are 44 cards on the deck. So there are 4 different suits that these cards come in. It is earth vegetables, fire herbs, water fruits, and then air flowers. And besides air or fire herbs, I get the association, the elemental association with all of them. Earth vegetables, I think of potatoes, carrots, things that grow in the ground, right? So very earthy energy. For water fruits, water, usually the fruiting body of a plant, say like grapes or something, strawberries, holds a lot of the water content of the plant, because it's usually the seeding, the way that the plant reproduces itself. So a lot of energy goes into the fruit of the plant, and therefore holds a lot of water content, and therefore water fruits make sense in my brain. As for air flowers, a lot of plants, a lot of flowers specifically, the pollen will move through and pollinate other flowers of its same kind through insects a lot of the time that fly, so you got the air element there, but also the wind helps in that case a lot. Think of like dandelions moving along in the wind, so that wind helping the seeds move along and continue on its growth process. So fire herbs is the only one where I'm like, yeah, I'm not quite as sure about that one just off the bat. But as I'm sure if I work more with this deck and everything, it'll make more sense in time. If anybody else has a thought about that, please leave that in the comment section down below. But when I think of fire herbs in this case, I think of maybe plants like pepper, turmeric, maybe chili peppers, those kinds of ones that have this like agitation that can be very healthy for the body depending on the purpose and the use for it. I think more in terms of like Chinese medicine maybe, where that kind of like fire, that heat energy can be really beneficial for the body for like helping with like fevers or something potentially, right? Going into more Chinese medicine territory on that one, not my area of expertise, but that's kind of where if I had to think about it a little bit more, that's where I would be drawing the fire herb connection there. So there are 44 cards in this deck, and this deck focuses a lot more. The author talks about their own experiences with plant magic, cultivation of plants, and the use of those plants, and the purpose of the plants in terms of witchcraft in a lot of ways, right? So I have like onion here, for example. We focus in here. There we go. We can see the way that the description pages are set up here, where we have the keyword of the plant. We have the plant itself, we have a quotation of the plant, we have an oracle meaning, the cultivation of the plant, and then magical correspondence specifically for the plant. So, and then we see at the very end a certain spell that I'm sure that the author has come up with, or that is very popular for use of this plant, right? So this is the same on every single page here. That is the layout of the cards for this deck specifically. And with that, I think that shows the importance or the difference in the use of this. Oracle decks can come in lots of different uses and ways, right? And I think I was experiencing this more or understanding this more as I was exploring different oracle decks, where you can just have some where you can just draw a card and it's a daily mantra, right? It's a specific mudra. I have a deck that has like mudra symbols, like has the different like hands formations. So the way we can use the deck is very different, right? Depending on the purpose that the author sets for it and the way that the oracle deck is used and made to be used, right? So our flower card on top right here that I'm seeing, and just to show for the way the different the cards look, right? Very, very pretty. The author talks about the plant itself and the imagery being one, I think that comes from their own book, or like their own, let's see, their own like drawings of the plant itself. Where did I read that? Yeah, so the author talks about the images on the cards are from my personal gardening journals, which I think is super, super cool. And the spells are personally crafted by this author as well. So going back to this card as we get some focus in, my camera is being very temperamental today for focus. So this is the happiness card, Majorum. There we go. Very stubborn today. So we see our picture imagery here from the journals of the author itself, and then the association with the word associated with this plant specifically. Our symbol here, so this is our air symbol, because this is a flowering card, I believe. Let me double check that before I mess anything up for anybody. Happiness. Mercury. Which section are you in, friend? This might be in the herb section, actually. Oh, nope, it's in the herb section. Never mind. I was wrong. So, yeah, that makes sense for the coloring. So, here is our description for this one, if anybody was curious. So, we've got a happiness spell in there. We've got the keywords, our meanings. So, I think what's interesting, if I'm using this deck specifically in context of a oracle reading and meanings of the cards to bring awareness to a situation or to bring more knowledge to a situation, I'm going to take more of that oracle meaning, right? For the card, for the meaning of the card specifically. But if I'm looking at expanding my journey in green witchery, maybe if I'm looking at expanding my knowledge about herbs and my garden and flowers and different plants, then I'm going to be looking to those other descriptions in the card, right? I'm going to be looking at the cultivation section, and specifically I'm working on green witch stuff. I'm going to be looking at that magic correspondence and maybe that spell specifically. I think it would be also very interesting to pull this deck if I feel like I need something, I need to perform a spell, I need to do some ritual of some sort, and I could use this oracle deck to pick a card out and be like, okay, this is what I need to do, right? I'm focused on this specific aspect of myself. I'm focused on this specific element, right? Let's just cut the deck here. I'm specifically focusing on trust, right? So there is a spell associated with this card in this deck, and then I can perform that spell and get that energy from the card and from the plant itself, right? It's also a way to be like, okay, hey, I need to perform this spell or get this energy in my life more. So maybe you need to eat more of that plant or herb or whatever it is, more of that fruit. Maybe you put it in a like potpourri, or maybe it's one that you can take a bath with and you can put in your bath water, like lavender, for example, something like that. So there's many different ways to use plants and herbalism, and then to access and use the magic of those plants in terms of green witchery, and then separately as an oracle deck to use the archetypical magic or meaning of the plants and how that can affect and give you answers and insight to your situation, right? So very multifaceted deck, very all-encompassing in different ways you can use the deck depending on what your goals are, right? So back of the card looks like this. Very, very simple. All right, we've got our elemental symbols here. Just a very, very pretty green, very, very simple coloring. I really, really like that for this deck. It's got a very shiny finish here, if you can kind of see it on camera. That very shiny reflectiveness on both sides. So with that, it makes it very easy to shuffle. It's a very easy drop shuffle in this case because they slide really, really well on each other. So let's see, anything else for this deck? I'm curious to use it more as time goes on. I think as I expand out my Plant Kingdom series potentially for different archetypical energies of different plants, I might dive into this deck a little bit more as well and use that deck for that same kind of purpose once I finish up using my, what's it called, Earth Magic? Earth Magic? No, the Herbal Healing deck. Herbal Healing Deck by Sarah Baldwin. Once I finish with all the cards in that one, if there's ones that haven't been covered, I might dive into this deck as well, or maybe I'll just do a whole separate set of videos with this deck, because there's a lot of energy here and a lot of purpose and use. And when you start diving into archetypical energies of animals and plants and stones / crystals, you get a lot of big overarching pictures and knowledge. I think that is very, very helpful, right? So let us get a card from this deck. Let's see what it wants to say to us today as we finish up for today, okay? So, Green Witch Oracle, what would we like to impart on our viewers today? What information do you want to give those watching this video today? Oh, there we go. Flew out. Okay. We have, I've got this one. This was one of the cards I used in one of my readings. Focus. Maybe. There we go. Longevity. Chrysanthemum. This is card number 39, and this one is in the flowers. So number 39, the chrysanthemum. It talks about longevity. It says, my green thumb came as only a result of the mistakes I made while learning to see things from the plant's point of view. So pause for anybody who wants to read the full thing of it. There we go. And got our longevity here. But our oracle meaning, it says, a phase in which trust, completion, and a sense of belonging and peace has been reached is signified by the appearance of chrysanthemums. Deeper intimacy in relationships is highlighted, and you may want to explore this area of your life as a long-term commitment needs attention. A cycle of learning is coming to an end as you now have all the facts you require. Creative blocks, melancholy, and weak boundaries are challenged. So focusing on long-term goals, focusing on the larger, bigger picture of life, right? Not focusing on the day-to-day or even the week-to-week, getting further into months to months and years to years. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? What does your relationship with your significant other look like in that frame of time? Will things be different? Do you want things to be different? All these kind of questions coming up with chrysanthemum here. And with this deck and the concept of longevity, right? It's one I've been exploring as well as I've kind of gotten past my Saturn return and entered my 30s, the idea of longevity and what my goals are for life further down the line, and what do I want to achieve, right? What do I want to leave behind, that like legacy? So very interesting card, very fun little deck here. It's one that I'm excited to explore a little bit more, I think, as I dive into more of that green witch magic, hedge magic, different elements there that are welcoming to me. And I think as I explore more of those things, this deck's going to keep giving, right? It's going to be one that I can come back to again and again for various purposes and different needs. So that is all I have for us today, friends. I hope this video was helpful. Leave any thoughts or comments down in the comment section down below. If you're interested in a personal reading with me, go ahead and check down the links below as well. The links will be there for you to pursue. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.